It is time to talk about the relationship of all relationships. The relationship that probably effed us up a little bit. The relationship that is the talk of Reddit. Who was the messed up one? Was it actually Mr. Big? Or was Carrie the problem all along? I'm gonna bring this battle to the end, once and for all. Maybe not once and for all. Okay, I'm only gonna talk about the first season. Okay, sue me. Look, here's the thing. It's all about that first interaction, right? So I did what any normal person would do. I spent hours going again through season 1 and picking out all the interactions that Carrie and Mr. Big were in and how it all panned out in those initial stages of dating. Because those will put you on a path. First things first, when you meet someone, it is very important in what kind of state of mind you are, right? I mean, talk to your girlfriend about how shitty the guy she just dated was, and then go all happy on your own date. I'm sure you're gonna be very objective. So Carrie is a 30-something fashionista. Or better, she's a writer, and she's writing a column called Sex in the City for a local newspaper. Was it a local newspaper? Now, this profession requires of her to always be on the lookout about what is the deal right now, what is the deal between men and women, particularly when it comes to sex, hooking up, and even relationships. And right now, she is doing a research on can women have sex the same way as men? So we learned that Carrie is kind of living in a time or in an environment where society sees men as being very detached and just being able to have sex here and there and hook up without developing any feelings, while a woman is a little bit different, right? She will probably fall in love and she will develop emotions and she will get hurt by this emotionless guy. But it seems that the tables are turning. Now women are more and more living in their own power and hooking up without any emotional attachment. Now we find out that Carrie herself was hurt in the past, precisely 4 times, by a guy named Kurt. She was on and off with this guy and she finally realized that he was self-centered, entitled prick. But meeting him again, she's thinking, can I have a hookup with him without having the emotional attachment? Can I just use him the same way men, or maybe he, used her? Can she get what she wants without giving him what he wants? Carrie completes her mission. And by the time it's his time to get rewarded, she doesn't have the time anymore. She needs to go. Now she's feeling powerful. She's feeling good. She's feeling happy. She's feeling like she finally did it. She used the guy the same way a guy uses a girl. She feels like nothing can get in her way. And then she bumps into Mr. Big. Her purse drops and he quickly helps her to pick up her stuff, right? A quick mental check. He's handsome. He is not married, and he just saw her collection of condoms. Now, Mr. Big is obviously a businessman. He has his suit, he is older, and he is charming. I actually came across some comments where people are saying that this first interaction solidifies, when I try to use big words, put the stamp on how Big is seeing Carrie. Someone who just has casual sex and is good with it, right? I personally, no, I don't think that had anything to do with it. Like, I don't know, let me know, how do you feel about that first interaction? Was that already a moment that started something? Now Carrie gets a call, and it is a call from the guy she just ditched, the Kurt guy that didn't get his part of the deal. And he is a little bit pissed. So he wants to meet her again. But the joy that Carrie felt was short-lived because he was actually extremely excited that Carrie could do just that. Just have non-commitment sex, no feelings, and now they can both agree to just hook up whenever they need. So the initial power of control that Carrie had was, crashed and burned real fast. To me personally, this gives the first indication of how Carrie is valuing the outside validation. You see, her going to bed with a guy and just, taking what she wants, let's say, in her words or in the society words, perception, acting like a guy, was not because she actually wanted to do that. It was for the validation. It was to feel powerful. It was to feel special. Now the guy wants me. We kind of see that Carrie might be someone who is, seeking for control and seeking for that validation or that recognition that she is good enough or powerful enough. And when he is not like all obsessed with her because she ditched him the same way a guy usually ditches a lady, she got disappointed. Like, this is not what she wanted. Fast forward, Carrie is with her friend Samantha at a party. Now, Samantha is someone who is very, she just likes to have fun and hook up with guys, and she doesn't give an F about it. She will seduce a guy, she would be direct up front, and she is gorgeous. Now, at this party, Samantha sees Mr. Big, and she explains to Carrie how this is the new Trump. Now, Carrie, I don't know why, but she says that she doesn't know him. She doesn't say that she bumped into him or anything. But she does get another information how this character, Mr. Big, is someone who is the next Mr. Trump, but also the next Mr. Trump, the next Donald Trump, which means he's successful, he's the it guy, and also very handsome. So Samantha goes in for the kill. And boom, Mr. Big actually rejects Samantha. Interesting. The party is over and Carrie wants to go home. Now she's struggling to get a cab until the rescue comes in. Her savior, Mr. Big. During this ride, we find out that Mr. Big is not someone who will just hook up with girls and not, I guess, call them back, or just have these casual sex with nothing attached to it, which is also confirmed by the fact that he rejected Samantha beforehand, right? If he was the type of guy who would just have sex with whoever just to have it and didn't care about it, then he would go with Samantha. Now, this is also the iconic scene where Mr. Big calls out Carrie for not ever being in love. This hits Carrie. Now, Carrie asks Big, have you ever been in love? And he answers, abso-fucking-lutely, and drives off. Okay. For me personally, this interaction is again a little bit, just a little bit of a power move. We get a glimpse into the power imbalance that these two have, right? So he is this successful business guy, apparently the next Donald Trump, and he has been in love, right? He is mature about life, about love. On the other side, we have Carrie. She is 30-something and she never experienced real love. Now they meet again at another party, and when she crosses her eyes and notices him, her thoughts go, major tycoon, major dreamboat, and majorly out of my league. So we have a glimpse of Carrie already putting Mr. Big on this pedestal without actually really knowing him. Now he lets her know that he saw her column, and it's cute. Carrie is a little bit bothered by this cute expressions, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I would be also. Are you telling my work is cute? For me personally, that would be an indication that this person is an asshole. I do not care how successful you are, who you are. The fact that you say that someone else's work is cute, no, I'm out. Now, at this point, Carrie was actually having a new topic to research, and it was all about men who date models. So he asked her, what did her research show her right now? What type of men are only dating models? And she said that so far she understood that there are two types. Some do it as a competitive sport, and others do it as a way of validation. Now, Big adds, and some just have a thing for exceptionally beautiful women. Again, like from my perspective, this is again this play of power and who is more mature and more intelligent and more smart. The fact that she expressed what she was experiencing and seeing and seeing, people do it for competitiveness or do it for a sense of validation, suddenly this feels like an immature answer, like something as she's so limited and seeing things in a negative approach. While Big challenges her and says that, what about the guys that just really like exceptionally beautiful women? Why don't you think about it a bit broader? Why does it have to be all negative? This is at least how I saw it. But, let me know in the comments below, if you remember this interaction, how did you see it? The second thing that happens in the same conversation is that he asks her, where does she work? Where is her office? And Carrie replies that her office is most of the time at home, her apartment, or a cafe. Again, it feels like he is a little bit being, playing this ego part of, oh, is your work even a real work? Like your column, your writing is cute. And where is even your office? Do you even have an office? Which makes Carrie feel even more like inadequate. Cherry on top, Mr. Big is dating a model. So he introduces his girlfriend or his date to Carrie. Now, this makes Carrie feel even more dumb, I guess, or even less perfect. Of course, like she sees him, she puts him on this pedestal. He's totally out of her league. Maybe she feels a little bit special. The fact that he even approaches her tells her that he read her column, right? Oh, so he is interested in me. Like there is something. He actually read the column. Then it's the cold again, right? He is mocking her column, or not really mocking, but he's not giving it the same respect that it looks like that he would have maybe for some other positions. He also challenges her on her belief system or how accurate her research is. Then he gives a remark about, where do you work? Where is the office? And now he is dating a model. So for Carrie, this is like, oh my God, like I said, maybe she had a feeling, she was already feeling a little bit special. Someone was, or he was giving her that intention, saying hi. And now when he introduces his date, which is a model, she feels like an idiot. She basically states that she feels invisible. Like, when did she start to feel so invisible? Which to me is, again, a little bit of indication how there is already this power imbalance or secure and insecure relationship interaction playing out. If you find yourself fancying a guy that is not respectful, or there are some glimpses of how he's already treating you as inferior in some way, it can be very subtle. These things are very subtle. Don't continue. Do not continue, because it already sets the stage that you will always try to prove to them as good enough. Do not override the fact that this person is already positioning themselves as something more and better with, he is giving me attention, so there must be something good and special about me. If a person is already positioning themselves as better than you, you will keep getting stuck in trying to prove yourself to them. And that special part, that feeling of specialness that you feel because they even give you attention, is not going to sustain all the times that you will feel like you need to be perfect and prove yourself to them. So, don't do it. Carrie did it, unfortunately. But that means we have material to talk about. And to me, this was totally, solidified. I truly hope that's the right word. When Big actually meets Carrie at the cafe shop where she usually works, right? So he just runs in, he says he's in a hurry, he has the meeting, but he couldn't stop thinking about what she said about men who date models. It got him thinking. There are many gorgeous people in the city, but after a while, you just want to be with the one who makes you laugh. And boom, the moment when she feels special again. The whole invisible thing the night before, the whole thing where he was basically putting her down in some way, the fact she felt bad about herself in his presence was totally squashed over with the act of coming to the cafe where she works and giving this statement, indicating that she is probably that special one, the one that will make him smile. Again, Carrie, on what basis? On what basis did you now feel special and all giggly that he said that? From my point of view, he is still an entitled prick that thinks that he is so smart and so charming. No, garlic. Go away. It's so funny how she felt special about the fact that if we look at what did we just learn about Mr. Big is that he doesn't think that models can make him smile, can make him laugh. Wow. So Carrie is like, I knew it. Models are crap. I'm good. If that's not a pick me moment, I don't know what is. Fast forward because it's really not important. She bumps into Big for the fourth time. Now, this time they decide that they will go on a proper date. They will stop just bumping at each other, right? And they will actually go on a proper date. Correction. He didn't name it date. He said it's for drinks or a drink thing. Now, Carrie is a little bit confused about this, right? Is it a date or is it just drinks? Is he actually interested in her and he's taking her on a proper date, or is he just trying to meet her as friends? The fact that Carrie in this case was so obsessed with is it a date or just drinks just gives me another clue that she is feeling inferior to this guy, to this date. Am I good enough for him? Would he actually see me as someone who he would date? We are at the point where she doesn't know anything about this guy, really. All she knows, all the positive that she knows is that he's successful and she's putting him as this smarter and intelligent and superior to her. That are the positive things. Like, she's not really acknowledging that seeing those things as positive and something that makes you feel inferior. She doesn't acknowledge that that's the problem, okay? You shouldn't be with someone who makes you feel that way. Also, you yourself, if you start feeling that way, maybe focus on trying to understand why do you feel inferior to someone. Now, when you are in that position, right? When you are in the position where it's easy for you to not feel good enough, first of all, I wouldn't go into relationships. But second of all, which is more important, is not try to seek validation from someone who they themselves are playing into this superior persona, right? When they would give me these subliminal messages of seeing me as less, right? At least be with someone who might be better, right, in your eyes, but they don't play on it. They don't even more show themselves as more. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Coming back to drinks or date, whatever, basically, Mr. Big seems not to be able to show up for a drink thing. He leaves an answering machine, and Carrie is trying to understand if he's canceling the date or if he's canceling the drink thing. Now, her friend is also confused by the message, so the conclusion is, we don't know. Now, to Carrie's credit, she does acknowledge that she is feeling kind of pathetic for asking a friend if a guy kind of likes her, right? So, yeah, but I think that's the indication of if he would accept her, then that means that she's really good and special and perfect, which, it's also pretty selfish. By selfish, I mean, yes, selfish. Because if your only worry is, are you going to be accepted? Are you going to be validated by this other person? It means that you yourself are interacting with this person to get what you want. You're not really interested in who this person is to actually develop something with him. Now, here we see another pattern that I kind of noticed when it comes to Carrie. And every time she feels bad about not getting the validation from Mr. Big, she immediately goes to get validation from another guy. And in this case, she instantly starts getting flirtatious with a younger guy that she's meeting at the party. Now, just to be clear, she has all the right to do that, okay? Her and Big are not even like nothing. They're just meeting each other. They're trying to meet each other for drinks and get to know each other. But I do believe that this is not because she really wants to just have fun with this other guy. It looks like she's doing it to get that validation. That's how it at least looks to me. But maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? Now, in the moment when she's flirting with this other guy, looking at his tongue ring or whatever, Big shows up. There was apparently miscommunication between is he gonna come or not come? I also don't know if this is like bad writing because Miranda was also listening at the phone and she didn't say anything that she's confused about if he's coming or not coming. She was just confused about is it a date or not a date. So now Big again takes his stage of making Carrie feel in the wrong. At least this is how I feel about it, and I'm gonna break it down why. He basically says that, well, I can't because I've been waiting 30 minutes in line, then I was searching for you for 20 minutes, and now 1 hour is, I need to go. The way he is expressing this and his demeanor and everything, to me, it screams like, I am putting the blame on you. You're the one who didn't understand that I'm coming here. You're the one who didn't wait for me and I was looking for you for so many times. And now you're the one that is basically flirting with another guy right here, right? To his defense, I would totally react the same way if I was supposed to meet a guy and then when I meet him, despite him thinking if I'm coming or not coming, the fact that you're already like interacting with someone else, I would feel some type of way, okay? So I'm not gonna say that Big being a little bit, passive aggressive with his statements is not justified, okay? I would probably react the same way. Now that does not take away the fact that Carrie already feeling or this power imbalance already being established from the get-go is another way for Carrie to feel like she's the one who effed up, right? She's the one who is not, it's her fault that he cannot stay, right? Because he did this effort, but she's the one who misunderstood and blah, blah, blah. Now, what's even more interesting is her reaction to all of this. So when Big leaves, her thought pattern is, men in 40s are complicated and tricky. It's hard to understand them. Okay. And she leaves with Sam, the young guy. So we see Carrie getting ready and coming to a fancy restaurant. Big and Carrie are finally set for an official date. Now Carrie is excited because finally it's just the two of them, no distraction, and they can get to know each other, right? Wrong. He brought a friend. Now his friend apparently called him and was upset because he's getting through a divorce. So Big invited him to join his date with Carrie. How do I feel about this? Let me say like this. First of all, I do not understand how do you feel like you should just invite your friend to a date with someone else. I myself would 100% cancel the date. I would call and I would be like, I'm so sorry. My friend is, in a rough spot and he needs some time or she needs some time. Can we do another time? Or do you mind if he joins us? Okay, that's first thing. Second thing is maybe he couldn't, right? Because it was a last minute thing. It's not like, I don't think they have cell phones at that point. That can be understandable, right? There was no option for me to not bring my friend, or there was no option to let you know that this is what's going to happen. What I didn't appreciate the most, and this is just my preference, is the way he said it. Now, I am all about the way people say things, okay? I am very pissed when people say things in a fucked up way, and then when I get upset about it, right? Or if I call them out, then it's all about, oh, but you're the one who took it that way. No, I didn't mean it like, okay, maybe I sounded like that. Boy, sit down. Now, he said it, or what did he say? I even wrote it. He said, do you forgive me? Who says it like that? Listen, if you had to bring your friend to our date, I expect you to say, man, I'm so sorry. Not man. Maybe don't call me a man. I am so sorry. I really couldn't. Like, he felt so upset. I tried to call you, or, it was already too late. I really hope you don't mind. And let's try to make the best out of it. I still really want to get to know you more. That would be totally normal. The way he says it, do you forgive me? I'm going to slap you, really. I'm going to slap you. So that's what pissed me off. Now, Carrie herself is upset about the situation because she was looking forward that it will be just the two of them. And she says, okay, you two have a drink together and we will have our thing next time. Now, this is where she lost me, okay? The fact that she called it a thing means, or emphasized this is a thing, this is again her immaturity shining through, right? It's not about her being upset that the friend is there. It's about the fact that this was a confirmation. This was apparently a thing, not a date, right? It wasn't just the two of them. So this is again a way of her not feeling good enough for him, right? I wouldn't be upset at all if she would just say, oh, I totally get it, but maybe it's better if we then do it next time and call me and then you leave. But to say a thing, chill, please. As she's leaving the place, she doesn't know how to feel. She feels confused. She feels rejected. You guessed it. She goes back to the young guy, Sam. Again, this is for me just an indication. She just goes where she will get that hit of validation that she is good enough, where she will have that power of having things in control. Now, after her night with Sam and realizing these young guys are really not the answer, they're not really for me, we are at a different period in our lives, but this other guy, in this case, Mr. Big, who is an older guy, a successful and established guy, I guess I'm not really, I don't really know how to handle this. Again, I do not like that kind of thought pattern with someone like Big, because he is a douche, right? From my perspective, he is a douche. We cannot take that away. Just no. On her way back home from Sam's, she runs into Big and he runs after her. We should go for that date anywhere she wants, just the two of them. And Carrie falls for it again. She is swiped away by that validation. You see, he actually really likes me. He is ready to go on a date. Capital D. I feel good again. But before we get into that date, Carrie has, in my view, an interesting experience. Now, she is on a date with another successful guy, a French guy, a rich guy, a handsome guy, right? I would say that this was almost like another version of the type of guy like Big, right? But in this case, she is getting validation from him, right? He is whining and dining her. He is sweet talking her. So she is getting all this acknowledgement from a guy who himself looks very successful, right? Their interaction ends with the fact that he basically thought Carrie was a high-class escort, I guess. Now, I think that was another crucial moment when it comes to her relationship with Big. Because in a way, it again played into this, her beliefs of not being good enough. So she was even more trying to get the approval and the attention and the acknowledgement from Mr. Big. She's craving that acknowledgement, especially when she's experiencing that another successful guy didn't take her seriously. Big and Carrie finally have a date. And she is going a little bit risque. Now, to be honest, looking in 2024, what meant risky at that time, I'm like, today, I wouldn't consider risky if someone goes in a bikini on a date. That's disturbing, okay? So she just has this nude color cocktail dress. But in this episode, it's presented as this cocktail dress is something very, sexy, risky. She looks half naked and it's, it is a little, you're trying to make a statement with it, right? So she picks this dress to go out with Big. But she is not planning to sleep with him. The second he sees her, right, when he picks her up, he comments on her dress. And he says, the dress is very interesting. and basically is devouring her with his eyes, right? Now, Carrie feels special. Of course, she feels special. Like, look at this guy. He cannot take his eyes off of me. But I'm not going to give into it just for her to give into it then. Okay. So they have, they spend the night together. And she is feeling some type of way. Oh my God, did I make a mistake by sleeping with him? Will he think that this is just how I am? I just go on first dates and just hook up. And she actually starts by saying, oh my God, look at us, like on a first date. So she's trying to put it as this is something unique. The fact that we just had sex on first date is something special because I don't usually do this. But at the same time, she is trying to get confirmation from him that he also feels that this is something special. He just says that he thinks it is fucking amazing. The fact that she's battling with it is because she's trying to present herself in a certain way to him as good enough. So he will take her seriously, right? That's what she's battling with. First of all, why are you doing things when you yourself are not secure about it? And second of all, if you notice that you are insecure about it, then try to figure out on your own how to deal with that. Don't try to get a validation outside. Don't try to let other people tell you this is right or wrong. Don't try to make the man you are with try to tell you if this is right or wrong. Because this is a guy that you're just meeting. You don't know what is his intentions and how he is as a person, right? So you shouldn't be seeking validation from him. So he suggests to go to a Chinese restaurant, after the deed. And she's kind of, in her mind thinking, did he find out that I have a desire for, or that I am addicted to, I don't know, greasy Chinese food? Or is this an attempt to get me out of his apartment so I don't sleep over? In this whole storyline, she also finds out that the Chinese restaurant that she was taken to, her friend uses or is used by her friend to take there people who he doesn't want to be seen in public with. So now Carrie has another reason or another doubt in her head. Did he take me out to this Chinese restaurant just because he doesn't see me as someone serious? Now, I'm going to insert my little opinion here. Just a question. Let me know in the comments below. Isn't it interesting that the first time they went out or they were planning a date, it was this fancy, expensive kind of restaurant? But then now, after being intimate, it was a Chinese restaurant. Less Mr. Big style of a restaurant, okay? Also, the second time they went to the same restaurant. So it wasn't just, this one time. Which then makes me wonder, why did you try to impress her the first time with a fancy restaurant? While after you've been intimate, now that was not a necessity anymore. Now you were going to at least in the series, it's shown as a cheap Chinese restaurant. I'm not saying there's something wrong with cheap Chinese restaurants. I'm just saying, how come two different decisions? Something to think about, huh? Or am I going too far there? Now, despite that, she was feeling very good with him, right? And she says, that day, I was with a man whose name I wanted to shout out from the rooftops. So she is smitten. She feels so good and, infatuated by this guy. She feels proud of him. She wants to let everyone know that she is with him. Again, what are you after here? It seems like she's just after for the validation of someone who she thinks is superior being with her. Okay, but this bliss that Carrie is experiencing is kind of short-lived because they bump into one of his friends and Big does not introduce her. Spoiler alert, his reasons for not introducing her is that he forgot his friend's name and he just didn't want to make it awkward, right? Friend, a guy he was skiing in Aspen, whatever. I myself am like, boy, what? Excuse me? Are you trying to tell me that you do not know the trick if you don't know the person's name and you need to introduce someone else to just say, in this case, this is Carrie, And when Carrie extends her hand, this guy is going to say his name. I'm going to say this was bad writing just to create a certain plot, right? But if a guy is not introducing you to other people when it's so obvious that introduction should be made, not the best. Not the best, okay? Let's say Big was just a little bit confused. Now, Carrie obviously feels some type of way, but she kind of dismisses it and she tries not to let it bother her, right? The second fail on Mr. Big's part is that she invites him for her reveal party, like this bus reveal, and she's having a poster because of a column and blah, blah, blah. And she wanted him to come to meet her friends. And he doesn't have the time, right? He just cannot make it, and that's it. Now, paired with all of this, like going to a Chinese place where she finds out that her friend is taking there people who he doesn't want to be seen with in public. Then they don't meet at the friend's place. Then the sex on the first date, and now he not showing up at this bus thing. She takes all of this and basically is very paranoid about the situation, okay? It's like, this is very, very bad, and I probably effed it up. I think it's the train of thought is quite normal. Okay, yes, we've all been there when we get a bit paranoid, when we don't feel like a certain acknowledgement or validation. It's very easy when you're not feeling good enough to, make all of these connections. I personally would not say that all of these things were bad per se from Big's side. I just think it was like situational, but I do believe that because Carrie is feeling insecure and because Big is not really giving her the validation that she's needing, this is just, basis for disaster, okay? And the two of them should not be together. Now, Carrie has this such a cute, quirky thing when she doesn't talk about things with her man, okay? Or her interests. She doesn't sit down. She doesn't say, look, I feel some type of way, or blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you? In a normal way. Now, what Carrie does is gets totally drunk, okay? And then she confronts him, and then she vomits all of these things out, how he didn't introduce her, how if he doesn't see her as serious, that they need to end, and blah, 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 in the middle of the night. So many things wrong with it. But the main thing that is wrong with it is when you approach discussions with this kind of emotional charge and just vomit and just statements and not really coming from an authentic, vulnerable thing where you actually talk about things, but it's more like, you are this, you are this, you are this, and now I'm just waiting for you to tell me that I got it all wrong, and then we can be happily ever after. Happily ever after will not happen, okay? It won't. Because the second you calm down, the second that Big calms her down, now she feels stupid, right? Now she feels that all of those feelings she had were stupid, right? She didn't feel good about the fact that all of this was not true. Now she felt like a dum-dum, which she was a little dum-dum, but it does not take away from the fact that this relationship, just dating him, not even being in a real relationship, is making her feel a certain type of way. Now she's just like feeding again into, yes, I'm the dum-dum and he's the smart guy. I mean, the power imbalance is just growing and she's feeding into it, right? She's, with her behavior, she's making herself feel even more inferior to him. What Carrie was searching for was the acknowledgement that he's serious about her, right? So she tells him, or she asks him, so you and me, this is for real? And he says, could be, and kisses her. And that's it. That's all Carrie needed. Could be. And takes her to his bed. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's what happens when you are not acknowledging your feelings about a situation, but you are only seeking validation. You are only seeking for this person to tell you it's okay. Carrie. So I guess I was in the advice mood, it seems like, because I actually put in my notes how to avoid it. Ask before assuming. If all these thoughts come, right? All these paranoias, oh my God, why is he taking me here? Why didn't he introduce me? whatever. Why didn't he call me after 2 days? Ask, okay? You already created an image in your head, but maybe just for fun, ask. First ask. You get the answer. Because then, if what you were thinking was all just paranoia, okay, you can actually resolve it with yourself. You can take that home and then figure out with yourself, why did I feel this way? Is he making me feel this way? Is it something on my side, and how to resolve it? The second you position yourself in front of this new person as someone who is just being paranoid and crazy, you are setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for every time when you will feel a certain way, that this person and you yourself will think that you are just being paranoid and you are just being crazy, okay? So I would not, if I have insecurities, I would not just vomit. I would ask. If that answer doesn't feel satisfied, I would discuss about it. I would explain my expectations or why does it bother me, and I would keep the same level of, it's stupid to say, but almost power. I would not talk as though I'm looking for you to let me know I am okay. Okay? I know I'm okay. I know there are things that are bothering me, and now I'm trying to discuss this with you. But I'm not just seeking for you to tell me that I'm just being crazy, that he actually likes me, and that's it. Because that's very surface level patch, okay? We don't do those. Carrie enters the typical stage we've all been at, when you are ditching your friends for the new person you are with, okay? It happens, we've all been there. She is madly in love. They are both madly in love. They are like two peas in a pod. They spend their time together. And, she's just head over heels about this guy. This is how Carrie sees it. So she finally, organizes to see her friends, because it's a sin to ditch your friends when you are dating a new guy. And well, the fairy tale drops again. Mr. Big is on a date with another woman. Did I say he's a douche? Did I already say that I see him as a total douche and I would never continue with him? On a date with another woman while this other person is thinking that you are, in love and head over heels. Now, I did come across some people and comments how he was always honest with her about what he wants and he doesn't want. I don't know if people were referring to the first season or not, but the fuck was he honest with her? Did we ever see that he would express himself as not committing, dating other women? No. What we did see is that he avoids, every time Carrie has a problem, he avoids it with some one-liners, right? That make Carrie feel happy and she's all good. But he himself never expresses that he's also dating other women, that he is not really interested in something serious. If you are someone who is multi-dating, you don't need the other person to ask you, to be honest. I know there is this belief of, I don't need to tell other people if I'm dating other people. Well, it's common decency. It's just being fair to everyone. You don't need to make this other person believe that you are into them and dating them and blah, 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 and they feel special. Like, for example, in Carrie's case, right? She's spending all this time with him. They're hooking up all the time. They feel in love. It feels like they're in love. And then she sees him with another woman at the restaurant. That's just shitty. Okay, you are not going to convince me other way. So, no. Confirmed again, Big is a douche. Period. Carrie, of course, is upset by that. She also acknowledges they didn't really talk about exclusivity. But to me personally, if you're acting with me as though we are together, right, and you never mentioned that you are with other people, then saying, oh, but we didn't talk about exclusivity is just a cop-out, okay? It is just a stupid excuse for for playing someone, okay, for leading someone on. Because then you say, oh, but I didn't say that we are exclusive. Yes, but you also didn't say that you are dating other people. Why can one be true and the other one not? Why on one hand If I didn't talk about exclusivity, doesn't mean that I'm exclusive. But on the other hand, if I didn't talk about multi-dating, you should still think that I'm multi-dating. Oh, whoa. Keep the same energy, okay? Keep the same energy across every situation. Despite her feeling some type of way about the situation, she tries to keep it cool, right? So when Big calls her to confirm their date for the next day, he actually ends the call with, "I miss you," right? And her, Miranda and Carrie try to figure out if this was his way of apologizing, right? Because everything needs to be cryptic, which Carrie also acknowledges it. So she says, "No, because that would mean that everything he ever said that I interpreted as sincere is subject to interpretation. In that case, what I perceive as his feelings for me may only really be reflected projection of my feelings for him." Her friend is confused, and Carrie acknowledges that she's being paranoid and she needs to stop. From my perspective, I would look into that statement, okay? I would there's so many things about that statement. First of all, if you feel that everything that you thought it was sincere might be just, interpretation and it wasn't really real, there are a couple of things wrong there. What is his attitude towards you? Are you really seeing it for who he is? Or is he playing you? Is he making you feel things are sincere, but then when he does the opposite, it's like, well, it's your fault that you thought that that was sincere. To me, that's manipulation, okay? That's manipulation from one side paired with someone who is easily who feels insecure and is easily persuaded in how she thinks. What is real, what is not real, very alarming. So the date comes and it takes place at at a party where Big is trying to introduce Carrie to his friend, but all in all, the conclusion is that it seems like Big is dating multiple women and calling them special person, whatever, right? Because he said to his friend, this is someone special, and this friend, "Oh, Julia," which where did this Julia come from? There's also an interaction with another woman that just kisses him on the mouth when he enters the room. So all of this is painting a picture to Carrie that this guy is like dating left and right. Now, she gets upset and she wants to leave because this is not what she's looking for, right? And he basically confronts her with, "What do you want from me?" Whoever thinks that this is him just being honest, no, he is a douche. What do you want from me? It's a stupid question when you are dating someone, when you are finessing them, but you never really have an honest conversation with them that you are just dating multiple people. And you actually let everything just kind of come to the surface on its own. But you take the position, "What did I do wrong?" You're not being honest as well, okay? You're shady. You're shady as fuck, period. Now, Carrie replies nothing, that basically she doesn't want anything from him. And as she's walking home, she kind of acknowledges that she is stupid by being vulnerable and developing these feelings for a guy that wasn't even serious about her. Or better, she says, not realizing that I am standing out here alone. As in Carrie's fashion, instead of going home, she goes to another party and, gets that validation from another guy. What is happening here is a clear example, at least from my perspective, of someone who thinks a rejection is wrong. Hear me out. The fact that she basically steps away from Big, right? Because she feels rejected by him, right? He's not into her as much as she thought because he's dating other women. She doesn't see this as a perfect, like, I see that we are on a different path, right? Does it sting? Does it suck? Does it hurt? Yes, all of that. But you know what? At least I see him for who he is, and that's okay. She sees rejection as her not being good enough or her being in the wrong. She doesn't live up to this standard where a guy would give up everything for her and just see her as the one. And I guess this is something quite common when we fail to see that rejection is, in 80% of the time, almost a blessing in disguise, because it indicates to you, or it tells you that you're just not on the same page, and it is okay to separate. But we rather go into, okay, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough and blah, 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 because it's almost easier in a way, even though it sounds effed up. It's easier to blame ourselves than to acknowledge that this person is not for us, especially if we created, as Carrie did, this ideal version of who Mr. Big is, right? And enters the pathetic Carrie. Oh my God. Now this scene was like, everyone, we probably all been there when you are a little bit drunk. I would think when we are younger, but it can happen whenever. When a guy is hitting on her, right, at this party, she calls Big to tell him about it. How another guy is into her and he wants to take her to bed or whatever. I don't even know how to say. And then Mr. Big is like, I'm gonna come there, right? And this is for her another way of, okay, I'm like, he is gonna come here for me. She waits outside for 45 minutes, and wow, well, surprise, surprise, it was again miscommunication. He was waiting at one side of the door while she was waiting on the other side of the door. That's why she was waiting 45 minutes for him to show up at this party. Which again, oh my God, silly me, right? I'm so paranoid. I thought he's not gonna come. Whatever. Carrie finally asks him, don't you want to stand still with me? And he approaches her, puts his arm around her, and they look up, standing still together. What the fuck? What the F? It's not about actually talking. It's not about actually getting an answer for him. It's not about actually agreeing about something. It's enough that she feels satisfied that he is now choosing her. If tomorrow he will then say, but that didn't mean anything, I was just, I just hugged you there, then it's going to be, why is he? When you're only seeking for validation, meaning you're not really ready to understand if someone is the perfect guy for you, the perfect guy, someone who you want to have a relationship with, that's when you miss all these opportunities when he never really expressed anything to you. Okay? He's a douche. He's not doing it because that's how he keeps you. But you are also a douche because you are only looking for that validation, not really listening to what he's showing you or seeing what he's showing you. But I digress. Or do I? Carrie and Big are now doing sleepovers. Oh my God, so cute. And she finds out that he actually has been married in the past. How can you say that that Big is not the problem? You are dating someone. You are hooking up with them, right? You're doing sleepovers. You're cooking dinner together, whatever. And you never mentioned you were you were married? If this is not an indication that these two people don't even know each other, and it's all based on passion and all based on fantasy and all based on illusion and validation and superiority and blah, 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 I don't know what is. When you meet someone and you're falling in love with them, you already know like how many exes did they have? Did they have any serious relationship? Or you are trying to tell me that, oh, it just didn't come across that I was actually married in the past. Or I thought I told you. Like that's something so just whatever. But if you think that's bad. Carrie has now a problem. But it's a bit confusing. What is her problem? Is her problem the fact that he didn't tell her that he had an ex-wife, that he was married in the past? Or she is jealous about him having a wife, him having already the one, right? And he even had wild sex with her. It feels like it's all, right? On one hand, Carrie feels upset that he didn't tell her about having an ex-wife, but also she's also really upset about the fact that that means that she is not the one, okay? If you think about it, you're dating someone, you find out they didn't tell you about that they were married in the past, and then they justify it some way, so you accept that. Then they don't ever tell you what is the reason that they broke up, right? Now, here's the thing. Everyone, like I really think it's everyone, wants to be that special someone for the person you are with. You don't want to be the person who was rebound. You don't want to be the person who got, last one standing or whatever. You do want to feel that the person who you are with chose you because they think you are better than anyone they had in the past, right? That they interacted with the past. Like I don't know about you, but I would not feel good if someone would or if my man was like, "Oh, my ex was the best thing that ever happened in my life, but it just didn't work out." Wow. Wow. Thank you. I feel awesome. Maybe I'm wrong for that, but I think that's pretty normal. And maybe I'm not normal. So the fact that he didn't tell her, for me, it's already like a bad thing. But let's say there's some reasons, whatever, just didn't come up because apparently they don't talk. But then for you to not even tell me like that, like what's the reason why you broke up, it's kind of like, thank you for letting me now be alone with all these thoughts. Okay. I think I might be a little bit Carrie in this case. Okay. Though it's stupid, I feel like I can totally see myself doing that also. Now she took it way out of line. Okay. She took it. She packed it. She walked with it. She started running. She jumped. She went with the air balloon. She flew across. She took it too far. She went to stalk his ex to see what is she against, competing in her mind. Again, because she feels not good enough for him, which means get out, get out, get out. But why would you get out if it's better to get that confirmation that you are the best thing that happened to him? And she also finds out that he was cheating. That's why they ended. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into all the blah, 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 because there's only one thing that it's important. Do you think, let's play a game. Do you think that Carrie heard that he was cheating, which he also then said, and thought, wow, this is a guy that, maybe he has commitment issues. He wasn't, like, he doesn't have values when it comes to cheating, right? And having respect to the other person and so on. Also because she found out that he was cheating with his wife's best friend, okay? But no. You know how Carrie feels? Special. Are you trying to tell me that the woman I was worried about all this time, like if she's, if I'm not good enough like her and she was the one, you cheated on her and that means you didn't really love her that much but you're now here with me. What the actual fuck? And you know what's even more effed up? How many of us would feel that way? Find out that your man was cheating on their other person, and because you already created this illusion and blah, 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 you're already in love, right? If you're not mature enough in love and so on, and then you feel like a relief. Okay, she was not that good, like he cheated on her. But look, he's now with me. We are effed up, all of us, okay? All of us, Carrie leading. So Carrie feels good again because she's special, He's with her. And his ex-wife is not that special because he cheated on her. He'll never do that to me. When it comes to Carrie's and Big's relationships and how they solve problems, there is only one way to make Carrie feel good. Just give her the validation she needs in some way. You don't even have to talk about things. You don't have to have a real conversation. You don't have to really express what you want. Just, kiss her, hug her, look at her in some way, pull her close to you, and she's good, okay? She's good. All the problems fly away. That's how Carrie functions. Now, true to their style, there are a couple of more bombshells. A bombshell of how he never wants to get married, which puts Carrie again in spiral. Does she even want to get married? That's also something that I kind of noticed through the series. Every time he does something that it's kind of the opposite of her values or her beliefs, she starts to question those values and beliefs. For example, when he was multi-dating, right, being with other women, she's suddenly now questioning if monogamy is even like the thing, or if we shouldn't be monogamous, right? And now again, when he expresses that he doesn't want to get married, now she's again like trying to figure out this marriage thing, right? Is it really needed? Why do we want it? And so on. It's very interesting, but also very telling. It is because she puts him on a pedestal. His opinion, the way he sees things, or the way his opinions and his beliefs are almost like superior to her. So they must be true. So the values and beliefs that I have, I need to really evaluate if this is true, right? It's screaming of this power imbalance that was created, and then she kept on feeding into it through the whole relationship. Now, we are coming to an end of this first season, and honestly, I am exhausted. I didn't know I would have so much to say about it, but we're not done yet, okay? There are a couple of oopsies that happen on the way. The first oopsie is when she lets one out in front of him. Wink, wink. And, it's a little bit of a combination between, haha, this is so funny. On the other hand, she feels totally mortified because it's almost like she broke this image of her perfect self for this perfect guy who has a perfect job, a perfect apartment, and blah, blah, blah. Again, an indication of how she's seeing herself as less, while Big is someone more, right? The second thing is that after this incident happens, it seems like they don't have sex as often as they did before. So before they had it every day, and now already 3 days passed that they don't have it. Now Carrie is paranoid that if this is because she farted in front of him, right? If now he lost his attraction to her, now he doesn't see her as perfect, and this is all the end. So she tries to push himself onto her, right? No, push herself onto him while he's watching a game. And he basically picks her and puts her aside, and he's like, let me watch the game. And she gets really upset that, okay, I'm just gonna leave. I'm not perfect enough. Again, this vomit that is all about just let me know I'm good enough, right? Nothing real there, which a real conversation would be, look, I feel like we're not being intimate. This is important to me. Is there something that is happening on your side or whatever? No, they both are dickheads when it comes to conversations. Okay, communication, zero. This fight also ends by Big coming to her place for the first time, and he's looking around and he's like, this is your apartment. And finally he says that he likes it. He likes it the way it is because she's doing some renovations. Whatever. So basically they're good together, right? Again, no real conversation, but it's just enough that Big came and gave her a kiss, right? Jesus, I'm over it, okay? This is so ironic when it's right there, but you don't see it. So she's outside and she runs into Big, and he's taking his mom to church. And he says that he's taking her to church every Sunday. And she didn't know about this, which, really, you didn't know? I thought knew each other. And then she says, it was one of those awkward relationship moments where you feel like you know nothing about the person you thought you knew everything about. What is one of those awkward relationship moments? It's all of your relationship. You don't know anything about each other. And we come to the final scenes after Carrie being obsessed with meeting his mom, trying to sneak into the church to see if he's going with his mom or whatever. And then basically they meet each other, and Big doesn't introduce Carrie as his girlfriend to his mom, but just says like, this is a friend. And Carrie gets upset, which, you know what, from my perspective, I think that was totally wrong on her side. I think the fact that she felt upset that he didn't introduce her as his girlfriend to her mom was not justified until Mr. Big says that he didn't want his mother to meet another girlfriend. So telling Carrie she's just another girlfriend. Now, was she just another girlfriend and he didn't want to introduce her to his mom? Could be. Like, that is totally fair. Is it rude how he handled the situation in front of Carrie and what did he say to Carrie, to someone who is in love with him and he's apparently in love with her and they have a relationship. Yes, most definitely yes. I'm telling you, he is a douche. Period. I'm gonna go to the last scene, which is the scene that got me really confused. Now, the scene itself in the series did not confuse me. What confused me is a bunch of comments on Reddit talking about how Carrie was stupid in this situation. I'm talking about the vacation and going to Caribbean, I think, on a trip with Big. So, after the whole fiasco with the mom and everything, Big offers to Carrie to go to a vacation together. I think so. Was it before that? Basically, a vacation was planned, all expenses on Big. Now, after this situation where Big didn't acknowledge Carrie as his girlfriend and then also said, I don't want to meet another girlfriend. And he also said, until I'm sure about this, right? So he told her he's not sure about this relationship. After that, when he picks up Carrie to take her, for them to go to the airport, she stops and she said that she needs to hear that she's the one. Okay? Big freezes and he doesn't say anything. He just looks at her, which typical, right? And Carrie decides not that she cannot do this and she doesn't go to vacation. Okay. My perspective, Team Carrie, all the way. Who wants to hear in the same breath, I don't want to, my mom doesn't need to get to know another girlfriend, and saying, I don't want to until I'm sure. Who wants to hear that when they are in a relationship with someone? What would make it normal is if that was a conversation that were like they would have as mature adults, right? If you say that you are not sure about someone, right? You don't say we need more time to get to know each other, both of us. Like, I think you're like perfect for me, but I feel it's too soon for my mom to meet because I don't know, I just prefer that I date at least a year, right? Before I introduce you to my family. That would be totally okay. But just to point blank say to someone into their face, I don't want to introduce you until I'm sure, that's very selfish and very like, I don't need to be in this relationship. That's my opinion. When she asked him to let her know that she just needs to know that she's the one, I think that was a very normal reaction from Carrie. If I'm dating someone, if I'm in love with someone, and that person tells me that they are not sure about me, I need some confirmation. I need some acknowledgement that you are not sure about this, but you still, because there are some things that we still need to understand, but you are continuing thinking that this is it. Okay? You are continuing with me because right now you are the person who I see continuing things with, right? Wanting to develop something more. Why would you want to continue a relationship if that's not the case? So the fact that she didn't go on the trip, I think it's the correct decision. Why would you go on a trip with someone who tells you that they are not sure about you? If you're not sure about me when it comes to how serious you are about this relationship, why would I be sure to go on a vacation with you and spend with you a week of my time? I don't understand how people thought that Carrie was in the wrong here. What kind of boundary are you actually setting? Or how do you, please let me know. Why do you actually feel that way? Why do you feel that's okay for your own well-being and where you stand, right? Thinking about the position that Carrie is in and how she's seeing this relationship. Let me know. I'm really intrigued by that. So the season finishes with her acknowledging that she wants to have faith that she will meet someone who would see her as the one. Based on all of this, what is your verdict? Who was in the wrong here, Carrie or Big? From my perspective, Big is 100% a douche, entitled, and just doing whatever he wants to do, get his hit on, and then just manipulating his way through it by being always the, I'm the reasonable guy, I'm the good guy, not acknowledging that he's also, manipulating situations. On the other hand, Carrie has some issues of herself. A part of the inferiority complex that she has, paired with the fact that she's just craving validation, she's just craving being the one or better than everyone around her, also puts her in a bit of a, also makes her a douche because she's not really interested in the person, she's not really interested in the relationship, she's just interested of getting that hit of being good enough. Ta-da! That's it. Let me know if you want for me to continue this analysis, then season 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. Let's see. It's quite a lot, but it's also quite interesting. Like even season 2, I already started to watch it. Yeah, I don't like Big. I just don't. Trust your individuality.